Hey everybody, Pat Blocker here with the Peaceful Pause Method. Today I'd like to talk to you about the consent test and how to respect your dog's boundaries. Before we get into that, I'd like to ask your consent to receive these videos and to stay in touch. So if you would hit the like and subscribe buttons, then that would be my consent test for you. So what is this consent test? It's really about respecting your dog's boundaries. So if we think about you walk into the room and you see your dog just lounging there on their bed and they look so cute and cuddly, and you just, oh my gosh, I just need to hug this fluffy potato, And so you swoop in and you're gonna go for a big snuggle. And what happens if your dog stiffens up or turns their head away from you or quietly gets up and walks away? Actually, they're politely telling you, no thanks, not right now. So we might feel a little awkward about that. It's like, oh gosh, I should have paid closer attention to what they were saying to me. Here's where the consent test comes in. I talk a lot in the Peaceful Pause Method about building trust with our dogs and mutual respect. So that includes asking your dog for permission to interact. If the consent test isn't for humans only, it's a wonderful way to build trust and deepen your relationship with your dog. So the consent test is actually very simple. It's just a way to check in to see if your dog wants that kind of an interaction at that moment. So whether it's petting or brushing or cuddling or even play, you want to do this. The consent test is first you want to offer your hand gently to your dog to come to you. If they lean in, if they nuzzle, and they stay close, then go ahead and pet them. They're saying, yeah, that would be great. After a few seconds, you might want to take a pause and stop petting and just wait for a sec to see, does your dog lean in? Do they nudge you? Asking for more. My dog Helen Wheels has trained me that when she comes up and does this, she just like waves her paw in the air, or she might gently touch me. That's her asking me to rub her belly. So your dog is going to have their unique way of letting you know what they want. But if you stop petting and then they maybe turn away, they would walk off or even do a shake off, then that's a no thanks, and that's totally okay too. But this pause and check approach, it makes space for your dog to tell you what they're comfortable with in that moment. It's a respectful conversation rather than a one-sided one. But what about situations where you have to act? That's really important. Sometimes we don't have the luxury of asking permission, waiting for a tail wag or something. Maybe you need to pick up your small dog to get them out of harm's way, or to help them maybe onto the grooming table, or to move them away from something dangerous. So in those moments, you can't wait for their permission. So that's where I suggest training and introducing a cue for when this might happen. So teaching your small dog, like up, my large dogs, I have taught them to turn and or go away, uh, and I've put that on cue, and we've practiced it, we've learned it, so that in the event that I can't wait for their consent, at least they are. I'm giving them a heads up, and that way, like if you teach your little dog up, then that they understand what's about to happen, and even if it's not in their control, they, even if they're not making the choice themselves, you're giving them warning, and because you worked with it and practiced it, it's it's saying to them, something's about to happen, but you're okay, you're safe. So you want to pair that positive experience with something like gentle handling or treats or praise, and that's where you begin to start to build their comfort and their feeling of safety and trust. So over time, your dog will know that when you say up, then everything's going to be okay. You also can use the consent test in public if you're out walking with your dog and someone asks if they can pet your dog, and bless their heart if they do ask first. That's always a plus. You can absolutely use the consent test there as well. So what you would do is you would invite your dog to approach the person instead of having the person approach them and move in and lean over your dog and extend their hand. Let's see if your dog wants to approach that person, and then you can watch your dog's body language, and if we have some tail wags, if they nudge the person's hand, some dogs are really excited to see people, and they might jump up on them. That's for a whole nother video. We can talk about that. But that's an indication that they're saying, yeah, petting would be nice. If they hesitate, if they hang back, if they stiffen up a little bit, or if they just start ignoring the person and maybe sniffing the ground intently, then that's a polite no thanks. And that's when you'll just say, you know what, she's just not up for petting right now. Maybe another time. One thing I like to do with little kids who might be really disappointed if they can't pet your dog, then I often say, you know what, she's just not ready for petting right now, but you know what she really likes? She really likes for you to wave at her and say hello from a distance. So that can help little kids in getting what they want as well. But advocating for your dog when you're out in public is really part of honoring their boundaries. It also teaches people that your dog deserves the same respect that we would offer each other. So it also shows your dog that you've got their back and that you're advocating for them. There are some everyday examples that where you might use the consent test. Do it before petting, as we said. Just pause and see if the dog or your dog initiates touch. Before brushing, you might offer the brush and wait for the signal. If you must brush, then give your dog a cue. And this is the same thing. I've done this with my dogs, is that I get their permission, and I also pair it with peanut butter. And so every time when they get brushed, they have it's called a licky mat that sticks on, I actually have it stuck on the front of my dryer, my clothes dryer, the door. And so it's right at their level. They can stand there and lick peanut butter while they're getting brushed. So that's a good thing to do. As we talked about picking up small dogs, we want to teach them a cue for that, if so that we don't catch them off guard. In public, you want to ask a person who has asked to pet your dog, tell them about the consent test, and you can do that then. And, even with play, you might start a game of tug with your dog and then pause. Does your dog re-engage, or do they wander off? So these are just all ways of telling you whether or not they want to be engaged, whether they want that specific interaction at that time. And so, you might think, well, why does this matter? But respecting a dog's boundaries helps them to feel safe. And it actually strengthens your bond with your dog. When they know that they have agency, when they know that they can say yes or no, and that you'll listen, it's just, or if you're giving them an extra warning if you can't do the consent test. So just like us, dogs really appreciate someone that takes the time to understand what they want, what they need. So we're just listening. Well, you might say, but what if the answer is no? What if you want to cuddle with your dog? And the answer is no. That's absolutely okay. It's not a big giant rejection of you. It's just that your dog is setting a boundary, and in that moment, maybe they're tired, maybe they're just not in the mood, maybe they're feeling unsure about something. So we just want to give them a chance to say, I hear you, and ironically, they will be more inclined to seek you out in the future. So we're just building that trust and giving them a choice. I think giving a dog a choice is one of the most loving things that you can do for them. So learning to ask for consent, or at least give a heads up when consent isn't possible, then we want to make sure that we take a little time to practice this. We want to practice patience as well. And, it's dogs spend their whole life trying to understand us. So I think it's only fair that we return that favor. So that's the consent test, and we want to be sure that we're respecting our dog's boundaries. If you would like to get in touch with me, if you'd like to schedule a behavior consultation, or if you would like to get a reading for your dog or whatever species of companion animal that you have, then you can reach me at my website. You can book a consultation there, or you can book a reading. My website is www.patblocker.com. My email is info@patblocker.com. So with your consent, I am going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.